Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm John Reisinger.
We are just 2 days out from the release of Suicide Squad. Things have gone from hype to garbage fire all in the span of 24 hours, it feels like.
Sounds like the national conventions during the election.
True.
Bad reviews, a tanking stock on Rotten Tomatoes, angry fan petitions asking for Rotten Tomatoes to get shut down. It's not exactly the buzz you want coming about your movie.
Yeah, and now the bad news continues thanks to a new write-up from The Hollywood Reporter, who's had a number of sources spill the beans on some behind-the-scenes problems that may have hurt the movie's production, and or maybe why we're hearing all these weird conflicting stories.
They kept it quiet for a while. We're talking rushed schedules, the real reason for those reshoots, nervous executives, competing edits of the movie, and power plays against the movie's director. I mean, all the fun stuff you want in a movie.
According to the report, most of the complications centered around the pressure placed on the kind of untested David Ayer. Ayer, he previously directed movies like Training Day and Fury, but he hadn't yet helmed an enormous special effects-laden feature before Suicide Squad, and then when he got it, he didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare.
One source told The Hollywood Reporter that Ayer had as few as 6 weeks to pen the script, and then it was off to the races from there, working on a hectic schedule to get the film made in time.
The article claims that the rush production became even rockier with the release of Batman vs. Superman when studio executives, who were already anxious about a movie featuring only villains, because they don't know what's fun, decided to get even more involved.
More fingers and everything. Apparently, BVS had Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara, I said that right,
You did.
really pissed about damage to the brand. According to one executive who spoke to Hollywood Reporter, the critical response to the movie had Warner Brothers worried that Suicide Squad didn't match the fun tone of the trailer specifically.
And the trailers did have a fun tone. This led to one of the weirder aspects of this particular update because of all their trepidations. Good word. The studio actually brought in the company who created the teaser trailer to work on the final edit of the movie, while director David Ayer worked on his own separate cut. Trepidatious, awesome, because we were talking about it before recording and how it's a great word.
I have to take my clothes off on Friday in front of a camera. This obviously led to some high tension between Ayer and Warner Brothers, who began testing both versions of the movie with audiences and ordering reshoots to help the two versions better match up.
The pressure on Ayer peaked when Warner Brothers allegedly decided not to fund his next project just weeks before the testing began, presumably as an attempt to make him come over to their side. Ayer's next project ultimately got funded by Netflix instead, so he's doing great, and the studio's version of the movie tested better, which is also great, so the two were then able to patch things up.
But now the studio's antsy, wondering if the movie will even recoup its costs. It reportedly costs around $175 million to make, but won't break even unless it hits the $700 to $800 million range, thanks to marketing and distribution budgets, and all the other complications that come along when your digits skate past 7.
And according to one insider, if they get anywhere close to that, they'll consider that a win.
Yeah, and that's not even mentioning some of the wacky stuff that was actually happening on the set. David Ayer had the cast get into fistfights on set in order to bond.
I think that was probably just a bet. He probably bet someone, I'll bet I can get them to fight. And they were like, yeah, $100. And he goes, you guys fight. It's for bonding. And then they did, and then he made $100.
Turn off Fight Club for 2 seconds and make your fucking movie. And he even shaved some people's hair and eyebrows for movie reasons. Again, dude, Suicide Squad,
Eyebrows
not Fight
take
Club.
a really long time to grow back, just so you know. Plus, of course, we've all heard about Jared Leto's bizarro gifts that weirded out his castmates, like sex toys. Although, we should correct something from yesterday's story about Suicide Squad. Will Smith apparently never actually said he hated Jared Leto. That was an article claiming he did, but then it turns out it was one of those satire, but it reads so close to home and so normal. It's
He might not hate
believable.
him, but I saw a video of him really not supporting the weirdness of Leto.
Well, I mean, Leto's method.
Yeah,
So
no.
that's gonna put some people off.
Leto's dumb. Well, all this studio meddling might sound like total banana pants to anybody unfamiliar with the box office business. These types of behind-the-scenes melees are becoming all too commonplace in the days of massive franchises.
Yeah, I mean, studios have invested so much money into these tentpole properties that they need them to be mega million or billion-dollar blockbusters to keep the studio from treading water financially for the rest of the year.
The mid-level movie has all but disappeared from cinema these days. Most of that action's on TV now, meaning that nearly every movie funded has to be a certifiable hit.
Or it costs $1,000 to make.
Yeah.
In order to not run into too many problems with expensive directors who don't like people meddling in their pictures, studios often hire relatively inexperienced, upcoming, at least from a big budget standpoint, filmmakers, mostly because they're 1, cheaper, 2, easier to control, and 3 will hopefully bring something new to the properties.
Yes.
That's why you get up-and-coming talent.
This is why guys will make a rather modest indie flick like Safety Not Guaranteed before all of a sudden being pegged as the director of Jurassic World and Star Wars Episode 9 like Colin Trevorrow.
Unfortunately, this can lead to a little bit of use and abuse on the director's part. We've all heard of the massive amounts of behind-the-scenes issues going on with Rogue One, for example, which is kind of echoing Suicide Squad's issues. The tone's wrong, it needs reshoots, there's a lot of pressure on it to build on the cinematic universe while also fitting in with what's already there, etc., etc.
It has also been reported in the last day that Disney has brought in an industry veteran not only to assist with the substantial reshoots, but also supervise the film's final edit with director Gareth Edwards. Edwards has said that following Rogue One, he'll be going back to smaller pictures.
Yes, considering how big the DC cinematic universe is to Warner Brothers, it's really not a huge surprise that they got involved with at this level with Suicide Squad's production. As far as tentpoles go, it is one of the 3 pillars that the entire studio is basing its livelihood on, along with Harry Potter and, of course, the Lego franchise.
With just days left until it's available for the world to watch, it's probably safe to say Suicide Squad is not getting the type of press that Warner Bros. Was hoping for after the bad reviews popped up and drove the Rotten Tomatoes score down. Fans are now expressing their outrage.
Only the outrage isn't directed at Warner Brothers or DC for their brand of filmmaking, it's actually being directed at Rotten Tomatoes itself because it's all their fault. A Change.org petition has now popped up online calling for Rotten Tomatoes to be shut down completely.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. The petition, with close to 15,000 signatures at the time of writing, certainly keeps things brief, stating that the unjust bad reviews of Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad affects people's opinion even if it's a really great movie.
Almost like it's like reviews and stuff.
Yeah.
This is, of course, ignoring the fact that Rotten Tomatoes is a review aggregator and doesn't actually review any movies on its own. It takes a bunch of reviews, averages their scores, and then uses excerpts of each one to convey the overall critical sentiment for the movie.
Also, it's got ties to Warner Brothers, or it did. The company used to own Rotten Tomatoes until they sold it to Fandango early this year.
So you can see where people would be a little bit worried given the Warner Brothers tie there, but given that they did sell it, I think they own a minority stake in Fandango, but not a controlling interest. There's probably an Illuminati confirmed joke somewhere in there for the internet types.
Half-Life 3. So no, there's probably not some grand conspiracy to keep DC movies from getting good reviews. It just seems like the way Hollywood works now. It's easy for blockbusters to become disjointed and not all on the same page.
Unfortunately. DC and Warner Brothers have implemented a number of changes in recent months to try to fix some of these issues, but they might have happened just a little bit too late to fully patch up Suicide Squad, and we'll end up seeing the results in a couple of years.
Wonder Woman? As always, we'll just have to see what audiences think, after they've seen the movie rather than before they see the movie. It's just a crazy idea.
What do you guys think of all the frenzy behind the scenes online concerning Suicide Squad? Let us know in the comments.
For future updates on superheroes going full dumpster fire and movies that haven't come out yet, like this video and subscribe to the Know.
It's not going to be that bad. Shutting down Rotten Tomatoes. Has Change.org ever affected anything?
No, never.
It made me laugh.
I mean, I do get a lot of entertainment value out of Change.org, but it's not an official thing. No one can make anyone do anything with a petition.
Can you petition Change.org to take down Change.org?
Oh, let's do it. We need to go deeper.
Let's do it, people!